call this meeting to order. It's great to see such good-looking people here from Jonesborough at our meeting, so thanks for attending. Got a nice meeting tonight, a lot of important things and a lot of special things. So with that said, we'll get started with our opening prayer by Vice Mayor Adam Dixon.
Let us all pray. Dear God, we thank you, as always, for the blessings that you bestow upon us. We thank you, God, for your great grace, and we know, God, that we're not worthy. We thank you for abundant mercy, and we thank you, God, for being plenteous, God, in that mercy. And God, at this particular point in time, we gather as people, and we remember an individual, Martin Luther King, and we remember a cause, and we remember an impetus on his part to love, an impetus on his part to bring together and unite. And so God, as I think, as just one person in this world, I ask, God, please have mercy on me. Help me, Lord God, to love my brothers and sisters with a genuine love, an authentic love, a sincere love. God, help me, Lord, to do unto others as I would like for them to do unto me, and to love others as I love myself. God, it's a beautiful example. God, I try, Lord, in my life to live this life of service. And so I'm just grateful, God, to live in this community, God, where we can exemplify those virtues. Grateful for my colleagues, grateful for the camaraderie that we have, grateful for the culture in this town, town staff and the employees of this town that exemplify these virtues of service unto one another. I do pray, God, that you bless this board, and I pray, God, that you continue to strengthen this board, and I pray, God, that you continue to strengthen this community, that those values of love and service will continue, God, to abound, God, in our very lives. I ask that you guide this meeting and our deliberation, and that everything be done to your glory. We ask it in your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good to see Ruth. Ruth, who do you have leading the pledge tonight?
Alderman Kelly Wolf.
Well, thank you. Let's honor America.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Kelly.
Absolutely.
All right, Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Mayor Best.
Here.
Alderman Colsey.
Here.
Alderman Cameron.
Here.
Alderman Dixon.
Here.
And Alderman Wolf.
Here.
All right, all presents. Great to see everybody here. We're going to move quickly right into our consent agenda. Alderman, is anything on there you need to see removed? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the consent items.
I would be tempted, Mayor, to ask for removal of a retirement notice in there, but I guess we're gonna let it pass out of common courtesy. But it is with great honor and regret, Phil, that we got your retirement notice as fire chief there. So you're gonna join the vaunted ranks of Ron Street, I see.
Everything was going good till that.
I know that. That's why I threw that in there. But congratulations, we love you, and we're gonna miss you, Phil.
I love you too, and it's been an honor. Yes.
You're
So-
part of the family.
Certainly big shoes to fill, but he's done a great job developing a great team down here. So we do have 3 months to change his mind, so who knows what might happen.
I make a motion, we accept or approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right, got a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Got a second by Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Colsey.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
All right, we're going to skip the financial report and come back to it. We're going to jump right into communications from myself because we've got some special guests here tonight, and I want to come down front. We've got a plaque to issue to somebody special. We have Kyle Throwball here. Kyle? Come up here. brave firemen. I'm gonna read something that, they wanted to present to you. On the morning of December 5th, 2023, in the face of life-threatening situation, Kyle demonstrated extraordinary bravery and took decisive action. It is with great humility and honor that we stand here today to recognize and celebrate this exceptional act of heroism. When the call to action came, Kyle answered it with unwavering determination and courage. In those critical moments, he became a beacon of hope, a guardian angel, a true lifesaver. Most of us will go our entire life without having to make the decision to act when life is on the line. Kyle didn't hesitate. His quick thinking, bravery, and compassion have undoubtedly made a lasting impact on those he saved and on all of us who witnessed this moment. It is with great honor, admiration, and gratitude that we recognize honorary firefighter Kyle Throball with a lifetime member of the Jonesborough Fire Department and present him with his very own fire helmet and life-saving medal for his actions that morning.
Congratulations.
Kyle, let's take a picture of it right here. Thank you, Kyle. All right. We're gonna move right into Employee of the Month. I get to call somebody up here that's here often, Amber Crumley. Come forward, please. I'll let you hold this. You want to stand now? I think he's gonna try to get you a shot, I think. I would like to nominate the Town of Jonesborough Visitor Center and Facility Rentals Manager, Amber Crumley, for Employee of the Month. Amber Crumley continually goes above and beyond her duties, justifying her Employee of the Month nomination. When we were short-staffed within the tourism department, Amber stepped up and took on additional duties that were in no relation to her current job description. She saw the overwhelming amount of work that had to be taken care of and jumped in to help. Many times, Amber has been the one to scrub the bathroom toilets, extend a hand to someone in need, take out the trash, and any other duties that are in no way part of her job. Never does she complain. She just gets the task done. With the Chuckey Depot not having a staff person dedicated to the facility, a handful of tasks have been taken care of because of Amber. There was a need for someone to oversee their rentals, and Amber took this on. Amber helped with their Christmas event, Breakfast with Santa, and assisted with putting up and taking down their Christmas decorations. Amber is always more than willing to jump in. This makes her an outstanding employee. I know a lot to say, so you do a lot. We have a lot of events, so you've been very successful. During the fiscal year, the town made $290,000 in ticket sales. Amber oversees every aspect of this process, from coordination with the group hosting the event to conducting the financial closeout report. She is the individual who inputs each and every ticket that is sold. She trains the host at the visitor center how to utilize the system as well as troubleshooting. She does so much more than ticketing. However, the amount of time she puts in to ensure everything runs smooth with ticketing is worth commending. Her efforts towards this essential function for the town keeps many departments running. Not only does she oversee ticketing for every department as well, community groups, she also schedules rentals for the Visitor Center, the McKinney Center, Mill Spring Park, the Chuckey Depot Museum. You'd be hard pressed to find a Visitor Center manager that takes on more than what Amber does. Amber does so many things outside the realm of her duties. She doesn't work to make sure the tasks are simply done, but she works to ensure the task is done well. Her level of commitment, positive attitude, attention to detail, and willingness to help, whatever the job may be, is inspiring to everyone around her. Through working alongside Amber, I have seen and experienced her genuine display of kindness, words of encouragement, and compassionate heart. Honestly, she deserves to be the Employee of the Month for many reasons. That's her Cameo Waters. So thank you. Tell us about all that you do.
Oh my gosh, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the addition of the events, that's been kind of nice. Haven't gone a full year. May will be a full year, but I think getting through Jonesborough Days, Halloween, and Christmas was the test.
Yeah.
So no, it's been really great, and I really appreciate it.
Well,
it's a great team.
You've done really well, and I know it's just like this says, every time we see you, you got a smile on your face, no matter if you're working or not. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll get Tom and get her. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
All right, just a couple more things, and one important one here is a proclamation for Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, which is going to be Monday, January 15th. Let me read this proclamation. Whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a federal holiday occurring on the third Monday of January each month and is observed as a national day of service to celebrate the civil rights leader's life and legacy. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all, and challenged all Americans to participate in the never-ending work of building a more perfect union. And whereas Dr. King envisioned communities where everybody can be great because everybody can serve, you don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need to have a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. And whereas since 1994, millions of Americans have been inspired by the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to serve their neighbors and communities on King Holiday. And whereas serving on the King Holiday is an appropriate way to honor Dr. King, meet local and national needs, bring citizens together, and strengthen our communities and nation. And whereas the local MLK Planning Committee has planned a variety of activities to recognize the MLK Day of Service and commemorate Dr. King's commitment to racial and human camaraderie. Therefore, I, Chuck Vest, Mayor of the town of Jonesborough, do hereby encourage fellow citizens and businesses in Tennessee's oldest town to honor the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. through the National MLK Day of Service and local MLK-related events. So we do have some of those scheduled at the McKinney Center, I think, coming up on Monday, so looking forward to that. You're welcome. Just a couple other little things I'd like to pass on. One's just a great Christmas season in Jonesborough. It's always a beautiful time of the year for our town, but as we talked about with Amber and Cameo there, our tourism department and events coordinators just really hit the ball out of the park every time. Just a beautiful time. I hear nothing but compliments about how our town looked. I want to give some appreciation to Craig and Glenn and our staff for just really making so many things happen in December and to really get the school open and to open up so smoothly as it did. We come down to the crunch time, but we got our red light put up at Tiger Way and 11E, and now that's temporary light. It'll be improved even more in the future, but we got that up, which was so important. Craig and Glenn jumped on making sure Skyline Drive was paved because that was an important road coming into the school area. And North Cherokee, our staff out there working to widen that street, which was not an easy thing to do, and get a sidewalk poured there. It's really impressive to see the amount of work our staff gets done. And, you know, we discontinued curbside recycling, but we're close to getting recycling containers set up to where we can begin that again. I think Craig's pretty close to getting something worked out on that. Last thing is I'd like to, not the last thing I want to say, I want to appreciate our volunteer committees. When you read through our committee reports, it's really impressive the number of citizens we have on our committees that are volunteering their time to help make decisions that move our town forward. Historic zoning, reading through theirs, they had so many things happening for our residents. It's impressive to see how well that was working. Our traffic committee met recently and had some really important things to do, and I appreciate Kelly was on that committee to take the lead in that and come up with some great ideas. So if you get a chance, you know, thank our committee members. They play an important part of the success in this town. Since we're talking about traffic committee, just kind of update you on what we face here in the town of Jonesborough. Sometimes I'll hear people make the comment, you drive through Jonesborough, you can get a speeding ticket. You know, we're speed traps, and it's just funny. And I was just kind of reading this, and it talked about our public safety department issued a total of 273 citations for the month of December. 273, you know, that's triple digits. Sounds like a lot, but you know, only 97 of those were for speeding, and then other various things. But when you think about 273 citations, we have 35,000 cars a day on 11E Highway going through Jonesborough. That's over 1 million vehicles a month driving on our 11E Highway right through our town, and we only had 273 citations. We're not a speed trap place, and if anything, we need people to be obeying the speed laws, because really all of our intersections work better when people observe the speed limit. So appreciate what our public safety team does. 1 million cars coming through here. They ain't all local. They got their hands full, because it was 36 arrests as well. So, and a lot of accidents, 31 accidents. With traffic comes accidents, and we appreciate what those guys do. And that's all I've got. So we're going to jump back to our financial report. Alderman, had that there in front of you. And I know one thing I plucked out there was I appreciate, it's the first time I've ever seen a profit loss statement for Jonesborough locally grown, and I appreciate the staff putting that together. But looked like Jonesborough locally grown had a solid year of over $500,000 in revenue and showing a good little profit there. So appreciate that. Alderman, any questions about our financial report?
I'll ask Madam Recorder, Madam Permanent Recorder.
Yep.
How's it going? How are we looking? You doing
All
okay?
is well, yeah. Everything's clicking along very well. We're in a good place at this point of the year with property tax collections. We're at 41% with 2 months left to collect. So bring the money into the storehouse here, and we'll get your property taxes taken care of. Sales taxes are experiencing good growth. Again, for the month of October, sales, which we received in December, we were at 7.32% growth.
Right.
Year to date for 4 months, we're at 7.35% growth.
So on those numbers,
Yes.
clarify that in just 1 second. So that's not year over year, that's year to date. That's a cumulative total for the month so far in this fiscal year, or is that compared to that month last year? Which one is it?
7.32% is compared to last October.
Okay, so it's year over year, same month growth.
Correct.
Okay,
7.35% is the first 4 months of this year
Right.
compared to the first 4 months of last year.
okay,
So,
very good,
growth,
very good. Thank you for
healthy
that
growth.
clarification. Yeah,
Very consistent.
not shabby either way.
No.
Not shabby at all.
That's
Good-
great.
Good growth.
Very good. But overall financial health, you're happy with everything,
I'm
and
happy with where we are, yes, and
I-
the capital projects are strong.
good. Well, I
A
just
lot of
want
activity.
I want to talk like Chuck did about the clarity that we're being given here. Thank you for that. It's nice to see clarity
You're welcome.
and some questions. You know, you did a great job going through the capital projects there in the presentation and giving us a clear idea of what's been spent and what we've got left. That's fantastic. It is nice to see a profit loss on Jonesborough locally grown. We're very intimately involved in that enterprise as a landlord in other ways, so thank you for that
That's pretty good.
very much.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that the Jonesborough locally grown, that's a report that is provided by them.
I understand,
Yep.
but we haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
I'll
anything
make a
else?
motion, we approve the financial report as presented.
All right, got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second, Mayor.
a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Calhoun, Alderman Dixon,
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we'll jump into citizens' comments. Is anyone here is a resident of Jonesborough, one of our water customers, or find out, hear from you? Is anybody here that'd like to address the board? Okay, very good. We'll move into Alderman communications. Alderman, is anything you want to share with the town? Terry, Adam?
Just like you said, December was great. Very good job.
Kelly?
Well, Virginia, ladies first. Do you have anything, Virginia?
I don't have anything. You'll say that.
I'll say enough. Did you hear that? No, I just wanted to talk about two things. One was the incredible crowd at our Christmas parade. We asked the Park Service representative back there, Chief Matt Rice, what his number was. He said 25,000. The more people I talked to, the more I believe that number. And the strain that put on everything we've got, from sidewalks to streets to police to fire to EMS to, just trying to find a spot to view the parade, was pretty incredible. So thank you. I don't think we need to start selling tickets quite yet, but that's a lot of people, I'll just tell you. Thank you for that job. And speaking of the parade, Rachel Conger did a tremendous job again. I witnessed Rachel, and she could have skipped her workout for the last 3 days, but she was literally running to keep up with all the activities she had that night, up and down Boone Street and going up the highway there. So Rachel's done a great job doing that. I think she's looking for a willing victim to give the parade to, and maybe thinking of just not answering her phone from about a month forward during that time as a means to get rid of it. But she continues to do a great job. And I also want to say that I've had numerous people involved with the construction of the school. These are private individuals, big contractors. One of them, a colonel who oversaw all of NATO's construction in Europe, tell us how fortunate we were to have Rachel working at the school, doing everything she did, planning-wise. She was a real Trojan. And I know that we've identified a lot of folks in that project, but I admired particularly her use of child labor. I'm joking, but her kids were with her.
Her own kids,
Her
so-
kids were with her quite a bit doing planting. It's awesome. She did a wonderful job with it, and she's to be commended. We're very fortunate to have Rachel and many others who helped make that project happen, often at the very last minute, because things just seem to come together like that. So just a big attaboy to a lot of folks there. So thank you to everybody.
Absolutely, thank Kelly. And we're not, and Rachel, and we're not done at the school. We've got 4 playgrounds to
Oh,
go
yeah,
in over
she's
there,
still
and
on it.
she's still gonna be
on it.
involved in that, so
She's
she can't
still
give
on
up yet.
Nope.
All right, Virginia, sure you. All right. Town attorney comments. Jim, you got anything for us?
Mayor, it was a very quiet December after several months of a lot of Jackson and stage door and school details.
yeah.
It was actually a very quiet December.
We might not need Jim's services there after a few more months. We get the school done, the Jackson done.
You all will always find some trouble to get.
That's right, yeah. We have Kelly and Craig here, so. All right, appreciate that, Jim. You do a great job for us as well. You don't plant flowers, but you do a great job for us. All right.
Plants a lot of-
We're gonna move into new business. First item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of the fiscal year 2022, 2023 audit report. We've got Sina Rambo here to address our board, and sounds like we came through really nicely.
Yes. I think the audit went very well. So I was just going to give a brief overview of the audit this year. Just once again, thank you for the opportunity to work with all of you. Thank you to Janet and her team. She came in after year end for the audit. that she was not even here for, but she did an excellent job and her team did as well. Also, thank you. Robert actually prepared all the audit schedules and did all the audit entries before he left. So I think that was well done of him to be able to do all that and provide that before he left.
Awesome.
So just a couple of the highlights. Once again, the opinion that we did have was an unmodified or clean opinion on page 2 of the audit report. I know all of you have read the entire audit from cover to cover.
Absolutely.
But if you do not get a chance to read it all and you would just like a high-level overview, the management's discussion and analysis on pages 5 through 13 give a good overview of the fiscal year. It gives a good comparison of financial information for this year and last year, and then some of your significant transactions for the year. As I said, the opinion on the financial statements was unmodified. Also, we have to do additional testing on the grants and do compliance testing for those, and that was also an unmodified opinion. And this year there were no findings, so I think that's a job well done. And there was the one finding from last year that was corrected this year. So no findings related to the financial statement audit or grant compliance. Also, we did have a few audit entries, but nothing significant, so that means the financial reports that you are receiving are accurate, and we don't have a lot of adjustments when we do the audit at year end. So I think you all have a good team in place, and I'm excited to be working with Janet going forward. I like to see that in the consent agenda, the town reporter. So we look forward to working with her, but overall I think everything went very well. There was still a year of transition, but even with that, everything went well and it was a job well done.
So when you say unmodified, Mrs. Rambo, that means that it was a good opinion.
Yes,
just for
that's
those-
the best opinion you can have is
best opinion
unmodified.
you can. And as part of that discussion, if you had to put a grade on the financial health of the town of Jonesborough at this point, what grade would you give us?
Well, we actually don't give grades.
I know.
I know.
It's a hypothetical.
Yes, hypothetical, but I will say it's a job well done.
A job well done.
Yes.
Is that a check plus wow then? Is that what you?
Yes, I'll give you a check plus.
Oh,
Does that
thank
work?
you. We're looking for the wow.
Okay.
I'll just tell you.
We'll work on the wow.
Thank you.
Are there any questions on the audit or anything in the report?
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank
Thank you
you.
very
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And we are very blessed to have the financial team that we've got. So looking forward to Janet being here full time. All right, Alderman, I'll take a motion to,
I'll make that motion to accept the audit report as presented, Mayor.
got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. And we'll move in discussion and possible action concerning approval of a professional services contract with Community Development Partners for the LPRF grant. Glenn, you want to address that for us, please? But I know we do a lot of work with them.
Sure. So typically we work directly with Evan Sanders of that organization. So part of the grant for the what we refer to Tiger Park, the LPRF grant. As part of that, there's an administration part of the budget, which is $65,000. It's already factored in the overall budget that was approved by the state and also locally. So the $65,000 includes project management all the way down to project closeout. So they basically take us all the way from start to finish. They're also instrumental at providing all documentation to get us our reimbursements, which actually we're pretty soon going to be turning in our first reimbursement request and to be funded back. So this is for $65,000 for the entire grant.
Very good. Thank you, Glenn. Alderman, you got
The
any?
entire grant was 2.4 million, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now, working with another good company here, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a short form of agreement with GRW Engineers for an asset management plan and GIS website update. Glenn, you want to address that for us?
Sure, Mayor. So GRW are engineers that work with us on all of our water projects, whether those are transmission lines or the water plant and other projects. This is part of GRW's scope of work. It's tied in primarily at first with TDEC ARPA requirements, where we did the AMR as a project under the ARPA, that $1 million project, or $1 million part of the grant. And so as part of that, we are required to do a asset management plan. The water portion of that is almost concluded. It also includes sewer as well. And ultimately, both asset management plans, water and sewer, will be used for the rate study that MTAS is also working on us as well. Part of the process was also the GIS component, but that's more of where we've switched from ArcGIS to Esri, which is cloud-based website. There's already current GIS funds available through the internal budget of the departments in the water. So basically, the asset management plan is, trying to remember if it's $55,000. $55,000.
55.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn,
Yes.
is there a concern? We're going to, I guess, a server-based GIS here to a cloud-based GIS. Is there a cybersecurity component to this cloud-based thing?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, and obviously, I'm asking because you put it out on the cloud, it's probably gonna be with a bunch of other utility systems.
Right.
Information that could encourage maybe a group kind of attack on some aspect of our infrastructure.
No,
So
it's
would you
a
talk
it-
about that?
Great question. Yeah, so if you take, without going too much detail, but if you take GIS out of it, we're working very closely with Sharp and have already major components of cybersecurity in what we do for a living right now.
That's in our system.
And also in other facilities. We've upgraded those. I won't say they have their own server, but basically we have cybersecurity features in each one of our facilities. I actually just signed off on some. The GIS part has its own cybersecurity format, but anything related to our network is already a layer through, call it
Okay.
Sharp.
Well, I guess what I was mainly asking is when it goes on a cloud, they're aware of the importance of protecting that information.
Correct.
And they also have a plan to protect it.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn.
I make a motion to approve the proposal as presented.
I've got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf.
I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Calhoun,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And moving into that cloud base is probably one of the best things we can do. Much more secure and stable. All right, we'll move into discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution authorizing participation in Public Entities Partners Driver Safety Matching Grant Program. As you can see, that's just a program where we spend $10,000, we get reimbursed $5,000. So that's always a good thing to do. So Alderman, anything there you want to talk about? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine.
You had a comment, Joe.
Yes.
I just want to ask one question. Does all of our vehicles have the GPS on them now?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. That's all.
Thank you, Virginia. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Calhoun,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Kind of along that same line, we've got discussion and possible action concerning of a resolution authorizing participation in Public Entities Partner Conservation Grant. Alderman, you can see there, much the same thing, 50-50 grant, some stuff.
Motion to approve is presented.
All right, got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Mr. Recorder.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Calhoun,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, moving into discussion and possible action concerning approval of the traffic signal service agreement with the city of Johnson City. Appreciate them working with us, and I know Craig and I had some conversations about this, and they've come down to help us on many occasions. Alderman, any questions about that? Seems to be in order there.
We've got the equipment and we need them.
Yep.
Make a motion, we approve as presented.
Motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Mr. Recorder.
Alderman Causey. Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a special event permit application for Jonesborough Locally Grown to hold a market and mingle event. Sounds really good, and seems to be things in order there.
So we're talking about closing Main Street for this thing, right?
That's what it states.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna have booths up there.
That's a lot of mingling.
Yep, from 10 to 2.
That's great.
Really says something about
I know it.
all of our
How big it
residents in town. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
great activity downtown.
Well, it's got to be when we have I mean, our events have been so successful. If we don't close it, people complain because there's a little bit of
Well, it's
risk with the traffic.
dangerous.
Yeah.
It is dangerous.
Yeah.
I agree.
Move to approve.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman
Second.
Countermine, second from Alderman Wolf. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item is discussion and possible action concerning approval of the Jonesborough St. Patty's Day celebration. Always a fun time in Jonesborough.
Little Limestone Creek will run green.
That's right. And we want it to run green this time. I think back probably about 18 years ago, Kelly and I went down to the old Burton River plant. We saw green stuff floating down our creek,
It
and we
was
said, we
green
don't
then."
think that belongs there. And we cleaned that up, and
It's been that long ago.
it's been that long. Yep.
Mayor, I would like to say, it's exciting to see our Main Street, committee and our Main Street initiative under Camio's watch really develop and thrive.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, this St. Patty's Day celebration is kind of a part of that. And it's just, again, it's very exciting to see. And the ideas that come up, very creative and fresh ideas. And I just wanted to make sure that they start at the Storytelling Center, they go up to Second, they go down to the track, or to the trail, then they'll make their way over to the brewery, and then come back. So it's just, it's exciting to see. Now, my question is that for folks like on 4th Avenue and even down to the co-op, is there any thought about notifying those residents? Will we need to notify those residents because those streets will be blocked off?
Yep.
Is there a need to notify them?
We can notify them, absolutely. It'll only be closed for about 30 or 45 minutes.
Okay.
So we always say an hour is the max, but it's usually wrapped up before.
I was,
Outstanding, I think.
thank you, Adam. I think one of the new things that you added was actually Adam leading that 5K and wearing a leprechaun outfit. So I appreciate you volunteering, Adam.
See, you're wrong for that, Mayor. You're wrong for that.
Yeah, there you go.
If he does that, I'll run with him.
All right, Adam, can I get a motion on
Is
that?
that a
for you?
motion, Adam?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Well, I got a motion to approve from,
I move to approve.
Second.
got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman
Alright.
Wolf.
Aye.
See, now people want to show up just to see if that really
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a big crowd.
It is an election year, right?
I've seen worse.
Yep. All right, next item, discussion and possible action concerning approval to enter into an agreement with Mattern and Craig Engineers to perform a warrant study at the intersection of West Jackson Boulevard and Payne Road. They've done good work for us in the past. They was helpful there at the Tiger Way 11E, so,
I want to address this, Mayor.
Yes,
Tim.
sir.
So this came out of our traffic committee. After we had our light there, temporary light go up for the new school, some folks who live in and around the new school, we talked and we're concerned about this particular area becoming a pass-through for school traffic. Now, as we've seen, school traffic is still kind of evolving. The paths of it are kind of evolving, and there's probably no set patterns yet. Everybody's still trying to figure out how to get there, where the easiest flow is going to be, how to turn where you need to go with the least resistance and that kind of thing. But a decade or so ago, we did a warrant study. Wilbur Smith did a traffic study of the whole town. And the two areas they identified in the future that we would need lights next in Jonesborough, the first one was where we just did the light there at Tiger Way. At the time, it was called Smith Lane. It was renamed Tiger Way in honor of the school. And then the other spot was there on Payne Road by Ingalls. So that's the road that goes up the hill just before you get to Ingalls coming from downtown. You know, it at the time didn't warrant a light. It had 1 out of 3 criteria, I think, at the time. This study will reevaluate that intersection in lieu of the growth that we've had since that time, which has been tremendous. And it'll also help us decide if, you know, something is warranted because of the additional school traffic, if there is any. I refer to that road, Payne Road, as the Sulphur Springs off-ramp, because I think most of Sulphur Springs that comes to Jonesborough comes down Payne Road. That's the quickest way to get to 11E from about 3 different routes. So I would encourage everybody to do this. They gave us a great price of $5,000, which is probably what it would cost 10 years ago, which is unusual in the day and time we live. So it's a good number. The folks in the neighborhood there, Miller Drive, Cherry Ridge, Payne Road, even West College, they're very concerned about the impact of school traffic, and I think this is a way for us to begin to assess the need.
Yep, very good.
And I make a motion we approve it as presented.
All right, we got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. Any other discussion? All right, call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Kennerman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
All right.
All right, motion carried. We'll move into discussion and possible action concerning approval of the plan for the intersection at Boone Street, East Main Street, Spring Street, and Fox Street. This intersection, you know, right there where Corner Cup is, Maker's Market, it's, you know, been a thorn for a while. We've gradually make little changes ever so often, and I think this is some small changes it looks like that would help things. So that's kind of what we do, take baby steps and hopefully improve things going forward. Appreciate the traffic committee working on that.
Yep. And Mayor, can I address this,
Yes,
please?
sir.
All right. There's really 2 parts of this plan. There's the Main Street, Boone Street part, and then there's the Spring Street down to Franklin part. And I'd like to focus for just a minute on one of those, and that's the Spring Street down to Franklin Street part. I had the pleasure last week of going to Nashville and spending some time with the governor and the TDOT commissioner, with the county mayor, Joe Grandy, and our engineer, Todd Wood. And that was quite an eclectic group visiting, but we were received well, and we presented a plan that has been worked on with Johnson City and Washington County for trails and walkway connections that would, the phase 1 of which would reinforce what we already have in Jonesborough and kind of build out our trunk lines. That would mean East Main, Spring Street, and West College down to May Drive, going over to the new school. And this is phase 1 of 2, the second phase of which we're going to endeavor to have a group get together to look for routes and come back to the governor with a proposal to connect a walking and biking trail between Jonesborough and Johnson City. So that is, I think, a very, very good project for health, fitness, quality of life. We're calling it the First Frontier Trail, or the Frontier Trail, and gives us an opportunity to have some waymarking signs and tell the story of our area, talk about historic interest along the way. You know, basically give folks the ability to start walking in downtown Jonesborough, riding, and end up in Hampton, which is pretty awesome. The Johnson City component focuses on building out their sidewalk system to get to the Willow Springs Park. Ours consists of building us out to two different waypoints, Spring Street and or East Main Street. So this Spring Street portion of this plan is very important for what we talked about with the governor, and we've asked for funding for. And I think it would allow us to make Spring Street a safely passable street, which is not something that I think we can say that any of us has seen in our lifetimes. Maybe when it was a dirt road it was, but since we've all been here, it hasn't been. And then it would also allow us to tie in downtown to Stage Road Park, which of course is very important to the folks who live up and down Stage Road and Cherokee there. So lots of great things, great potential. You know, when you're an old town, your infrastructure's old. That cuts both ways. The buildings look great, but it's hard to get your utilities where they need to be, and hard to get back and forth on foot because things weren't necessarily built according to, of course, ADA, but even with thinking about pedestrian traffic in mind. Everybody could just walk down the street and no problem, and we're past that at this point. So this plan for Spring Street especially, I would encourage us to adopt tonight. I think there's some concern present on the Main Street part of this that I'm hearing about the fact that we need to maybe talk to our stakeholders there a little bit before we pass the Main Street part of it, to make sure everybody's aware of what's happening. I had one call just before I came in and sent the plan to the person that called. I'm not sure. I think it's probably good form that we do that before we get into doing something there. But I think that I would encourage us tonight to adopt the Spring to Franklin part of this thing and give our staff an opportunity to reach out to our stakeholders on Main Street just to make sure that they're clued in, and have a discussion with them if needed to make sure they know what's going on there. You know, Main Street's where it all happens. It's the center of town. There's a lot of traffic on it. And we just want to make sure that folks are aware, not necessarily that we change our plan, but they're aware that there's going to be a significant change here. There'd be the elimination of 3 spots there in front of First Baptist. There'd be an addition of a median 6 feet wide that would help divide the road and channel traffic into a more narrow path. And I can speak from firsthand experience that that definitely has an effect of slowing traffic. When we did a neighborhood over at Vines Farm, our engineer, same engineer that designed this plan, narrowed the road from 24 to 18 feet in a couple places as a traffic control, and people will just flat out stop. Instead of go through a more narrow spot, they'll stop and go onesies. You go and then I'll go, kind of a thing. So that the narrowing works. We're not asking anybody to stop on Main Street, but it does mentally cause you to pause and to slow down. So in just having some discussion before the meeting and hearing some things tonight, I think that probably the best thing for us to do, Mayor, would be to break this up, adopt the Spring Street part of it, and come back next month with a look at the full plan and take the Main Street part of it.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion, and for the record, I was perfectly fine doing the whole thing tonight, and then I think some wiser, more intelligent voices convinced me otherwise. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
I know,
So
no, but
we'll be here. We'll be back next month.
that's in theory. That is correct. Yes. So I will make a motion that we adopt the Spring Street to Franklin part of this plan.
And Paul's on the Main Street, so Alderman.
For
you
1
hear
month.
Alderman Wolf's motion there. Is there any second or any discussion?
Mayor, could I point
Got a
out,
second from Alderman Causey. Okay.
could I point out one thing on that Spring Street plan? What the traffic committee approved, when you look at the plan that's here now, obviously that's changing Spring Street one way off of Main Street going out of town. But the request from the engineer, and we just don't have an updated drawing. If you look at that plan now, it shows the sidewalk or trail on the south side of the street, and it causes a crossover at the intersection of Franklin, so the request was to move the sidewalk to the north side, and then that would tie that into Franklin all the way back up to the raised crosswalk that was planted on Main Street.
Well, in talking to the engineer about it, Craig, I had about 4.5 hours with him both ways. He's talking about it staying on the south side because the rest of the sidewalk out Spring Street's gonna have to be on the south side. That was what we had talked about. Have you talked to him most recently about that, or was that at the traffic meeting?
Well, that was at the traffic committee meeting, but one of the issues is there's not, if you look at the intersection of Spring Street and Main Street, there's a lot on that corner, and there's really nowhere to cross Main Street at the church over to Spring.
Right.
It should be.
Because you're down into the Boone Street intersection, so to do a crosswalk there, again, that should be on
Okay.
the north side of the street instead of the south side.
Okay.
And then, you know, once you cross over there, then you can also put a crosswalk back in
Okay.
to tie that in.
Well, I'll amend my motion to reflect that the side of the road of the sidewalk yet to be determined on Spring Street, and
That-
leave it at that.
That's
Yeah.
that's fine. I
Yep.
just didn't want traffic to approve one thing, board to approve another, and then when we start to do the construction, why are you doing?
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
it the
yet
way
to
you're
be
doing it?
determined, but I'm sure we'll work it out to where it's on the right side that it
Yes.
needs to be. Yeah.
There's some
Yep.
small modifications I wouldn't mind suggesting as well later on, so I think getting it approved, and then we can move into the.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's a project that'll take a while. We can always
Yep.
bring it back to the board as
Yep.
just an update
Yeah.
of
Yep.
where we're at.
Okay, so do you
Virginia,
accept
you
my
accept?
amendment? Okay.
All right, any discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Kellerman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
All right, motion carried. Very good, Alderman. Now we'll move into discussion and possible action concerning approval to establish a new 30 miles per hour speed limit on Boones Creek Road from Jackson Boulevard to the town limits. And I think, one of the things that spurs that is really just, a lot of the new growth out the Boones Creek Road, but really it's a 2-lane road where people gotta turn left and right a lot, and we've had a lot of accidents on that, people driving too fast. And, as Craig often says, if you set your speed limit at 30, people wanna do 40. So right now being 45, they're doing 55, and I think Craig's even got, Matt, people doing 70 miles per hour, passing people down through there. So we need to slow it down before we get somebody killed, and that's what that's about.
Well, Mayor, if I may, Malcolm did a speed study, and we've had some discussions with our fine folks at the police department. You know, you've seen the number of wrecks grow each year on that road. It's now in the 40s. Was it 43, Matt? Something like that, 42, 43? I had a guy on a motorcycle try to pass me today on it, and I was going 45,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, you're thinking, what are you doing? But anyway, the double line, I think will help with this some. Right now, there is a dashed line that says it's okay to pass. And, that's a problem. But the speed itself, if it's posted at 30, you hope they'll slow down to 40, so.
Can we
but-
put up more signs, or is it a state road and we can't?
We can put up more, you can put no passing signs.
No, I mean 30 mile,
Oh,
because
we will.
it actually changes 3 times. It goes to 30, 45, to 50, back to 45.
Yeah. I think we'll be able to fairly significantly signage the change.
The good
I mean,
thing is it'll be consistent, 30 from really the intersection all the way to the town
It
limits.
needs
Yeah.
to be well marked.
But, another thing that we visited in Nashville about was getting the traffic circle that would allow for us to have the access road to the school connected in a productive and safe manner. And so we made a request for that too.
Ooh, that's a good.
Yeah.
idea.
And so the 30-mile zone would be very appropriate and applicable when you're approaching a traffic circle. So, but I think this is a very important thing. And before you go to the next item, we can vote on this one. But I've got something on after this one that I want to bring up too, related to this, if you can, Mayor. So, but I'll make a motion we approve this as presented.
Okay. Got a motion to approve item K.
Second.
A second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Clausen.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion
So,
carried.
as a corollary to this, our new school is on Cherokee Street right now. The speed limit through there is 30. I would challenge anybody to maintain 30 miles an hour going around those curves, going up Tiger Way.
Yeah.
It's a nice slalom course. It's also very dangerous at that speed, all joking aside. I think, in discussions I've had, folks along Cherokee are concerned about folks going down the hill too quickly, in particular. Some people even find it necessary to get a good run and go to get back up the hill. Unless you're driving a tractor, that's probably not appropriate. But I would say that a change in speed limit on Cherokee from 30 to 20 would be appropriate from the intersection at 11E all the way to Skyline, as a corollary to what we're talking about doing over there on Boones Creek. Eventually, that road through the access road will be connected with Boones Creek, and we've shifted traffic from 11E and Main Street to this area. So I think we have an obligation to our residents to make sure that we try to keep it as safe as we can in that neighborhood. For what it's worth, in case none of you have seen it, Highway 11E runs a lot better in the morning without the school zone on it. Has anybody seen that?
Oh,
It's pretty neat. I mean,
Very
it's
well.
it just proves that, that school zone was a major headache. But I would like to request, Mayor, that we add to the agenda Cherokee here, Tiger Way and Cherokee, re-looking the speed limit on that as well.
Very good. Alderman, you can hear a motion to add this to the agenda, changing Tiger Way and North Cherokee out to Skyline Drive to 20 miles per hour. Do I have a second to add that to the agenda?
You think the traffic committee's in favor of that?
I think Craig and I have talked about it, and I think, yeah.
Well, one of the things too, with the discussions that we had Friday, Mayor, is, as Alderman Wolf said earlier, I've observed the traffic there. I know the police department has, but I consider myself, through the courses and just the job, to be as close to a professional driver as there is. So just today, as Alderman Wolf was talking about earlier, I pulled onto Tiger Way off 11E with the sole purpose of traveling from there to the traffic circle at 30 miles an hour.
You can't do it.
When I hit that first curve up the hill, I looked down and I was doing 22. So I do think that 30, especially through that S-curve going up the hill, and then you've got the school, you've got that Sailor Place development going in.
Yep.
So I would concur, as Alderman Wolf said, I think you'd be hard pressed for someone to go 30 through
No,
that
I
section.
agree.
I think time is of the essence on that too, because, school's underway and more and more traffic, so. Can I get a second to add that to the agenda?
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine? All right.
Put it through the traffic committee or that's fine. What do you think?
What's this?
Mayor, I was just suggesting to Alderman Wolf, if he was okay with this, to suggest to you all that what you do is modify this motion slightly to direct the staff to prepare for you to do that next month, so
Yeah.
that you've got an agenda presentation that justifies the change. That just helps me as far as documentation of your action.
Defending.
So that if we were to
Yep.
be challenged on it, then right now, we're going through a situation where we're getting some challenges. They're kind of, in my opinion, they're not gonna go anywhere, but challenging different ordinances and whatnot. And, that seems to be kind of on the rise, just a normal thing. I think everybody's dealing with that, but, I just think we'd be better off if we make sure we've dotted the i's and crossed the t's for legal, and
Okay.
take that month to do that and have a written agenda presentation, just like you had tonight.
I'll amend my motion to reflect Mr. Wheeler's wishes
Okay.
and comment that you just thought you didn't need him anymore.
That's why he spoke up. Terry, do you accept that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you've heard the modified motion and second.
So we'll see it next month.
So what,
Next month.
So
but in the meantime,
staff is gonna,
police are aware of, public safety is aware of speeding and will take appropriate action.
Well, and that needs to, and we also need to be thinking about if we need to order 20-mile-per-hour signage, we
Sure.
need to get that stuff on order, because we don't want to have to vote on it in February and it not really take action until April, because school's going to be getting out, so the sooner the better, so let's
Right.
get those things underway and come back and approve it in
are there
February.
police up there now at the new school like there used to be up at? Okay.
Yeah. You know, at some point, you know, like I said, we got 1 million cars a month coming down 11E. We don't need them sitting around up there. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to get off of 11E was to, you know, have our, you know, law enforcement out on where the most traffic is. So eventually, once we feel comfortable with what things are working up there, we're not going to need them up there. So. All right, we got a motion and a second. Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, staff will come back next month with that. Now we will move into last item, discussion and possible act concerning approval of the 2024 Music on the Square agreement with Sam Love, who's done an outstanding job down for Music on the Square, and Amber and Cameo get to work with him. I get to work with him. He's done a great job the whole time he's been there, and we've hopefully will utilize his talents more when we get to Jackson going. So, Alderman, anything about that you want to talk about?
Make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll say,
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf, a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion?
just appreciate his passion, appreciate his energy, and looking forward to another good season.
Yeah, yeah, the people that come like him, that's very important. All right, any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And that's it, meeting adjourned.